In video games, there is a common structure to how the player will experience it. Players will face a series of obstacles, and then once those are overcome, the game is beaten. This can commonly be seen through levels and boss fights. While not every game will have this structure, such as life simulators, it's the general outline for many games. Once you beat the game, more playtime will usually result from seeing any content you may have missed during progression, or simply replaying favorite parts of your game. But what if you were motivated to do that for a small reward and a series of other challenges not built into the game to sink your teeth into, thus extending the playtime of a game? That's where achievements come into the picture. Chivos for short. First seen on the Xbox 360 in 2005, Chivos have become a common feature on platforms such as PC, PlayStation, and mobile devices. This expansion has led to the rise of their adoption, which has allowed a community known as Chivo Hunters to flourish. Individuals who dedicate their time and effort to getting all Chivos for as many games as they can. However, while some collect Chivos as a challenge and others do it casually, there is no denying that they can be quite fun to obtain. But why? What has led to Chivos becoming so beloved to the point where people are still asking Nintendo to make them a feature on their own platform? Well, I've boiled it down to 3 factors, and I will go over the first, which I previously hinted at, and that is replayability. Replayability is often considered a crucial aspect of a game, especially in more recent times where games are starting to increase in price. Since there is a high price to pay, consumers will want a high value game, and many will attribute that value to how often they can return to that game in order to squeeze every dollar out of it. Despite that, I wouldn't say replayability is always important. A massive JRPG such as Persona 5, which lasts around 100 hours, can satisfy players through one playthrough alone. Therefore, the game's ability to draw players back in for a second time isn't a top priority. Some games are built with the idea of players only going through it once, and that is perfectly okay when executed well. If it is done poorly, it can result in players feeling that a game is lackluster content-wise, and can ultimately damper what would have been a good experience. Nevertheless, we still need to consider that not all games have the luxury of being dozens upon dozens of hours long. As I previously hinted at in the beginning of this video, Chivos play a role in extending a game's lifespan, and allow me to explain how. We can break Chivos down into 4 categories: progression, completion, bonuses, and challenges. Progression Chivos are Chivos that you naturally get as you go through a game. This includes actions like beating the tutorial or simply finishing the game. Completion Chivos relate to doing everything a game has to offer, such as collecting all Chivos scattered around a map, or by finishing all side quests. These 2 categories are the standard of fare for many games, and some may only include these types of Chivos. In contrast, the interesting ones come from the latter 2 categories. Bonus Chivos don't fall under the previous categories, but also aren't hard enough to meet the standards for the next one. They can be something as simple as not skipping the credits, or doing some out-of-the-box action that normally wouldn't be done. While not always in depth, these bonus Chivos can still be amusing to accomplish for certain games, like in Postal 2, where you can get a Chivo for witnessing someone go postal. And sometimes they are just helpful in understanding how many people it took to make a game you are playing a reality. They are just a fun set of Chivos that encourage people to return to a game for what I would describe as a victory lap. With that being said, the main category of this factor is the last category, challenge Chivos. These are Chivos that are meant to test your skills in ways that the game doesn't require and or include. Case in point, no death run Chivos, or what I will call X-Build Chivos. I would describe X-Build Chivos as Chivos that force a game to be played a certain way that makes it more difficult than a regular playthrough, such as requiring the use of a weaker weapon when facing a boss, or not allowing the utilization of upgrades during the game. These Chivos increase replayability the most, as they force players to learn a new playstyle and gain a new perspective on the game. This can be exciting, as a section of the game you once found dull can feel refreshing as you don't have access to the resources you would normally use. As for no death runs, they increase the tension dramatically. Every moment feels like you're on the verge of death, and receiving any health items, if applicable, are an absolute blessing. Additionally, once you do get the Chivo, the sense of satisfaction is an unforgettable moment. I still remember the sensation I felt when I finally beat Sonic 2 without dying. It was immaculate. Also, if these type of Chivos sound familiar to you, it's because they are similar to what are referred to as challenge runs. You have probably seen these on websites such as Twitch, where someone will play a game but create a set of limitations they must abide by. Challenge Chivos are basically that, but officially supported by CDevs. For reference, I will be referring to those who create Chivos as CDevs. As for why I don't say game developers or developers, I'll explain later in the video. On the flip side, not all Chivos are created equally, as some can be quite obtuse. This can include Chivos that take an unnecessary amount of time to achieve, or Chivos that rely on reusing content. To provide a specific example, Rayman Legends. Overall, I would say it's an excellent 2D platformer, perhaps even one of the best. Alas, not everything is perfect. I would like to point out the Truly Awesome Chivo, which mandates that you reach the highest level in the online challenges mode. However, the threshold to reach the final level is quite high, and if you aren't constantly scoring high on the daily leaderboard, it will take months to get this achievement, and this is coming from someone who did it twice. It was the same repetitive actions every day, and that doesn't make a compelling Chivo, as that extended playtime was not ideal. Not all long-term Chivos are bad, it's just that these Chivos need to be well balanced and placed in the right games. I could go on and on about subpar achievements, but I don't want to be super negative. With all of that being said, I would like to move on to the second factor that allows Chivos to be popular, and that is the dopamine rush you get from them. I already discussed how getting a no death run achievement felt good to accomplish, but I believe there are other factors that contribute to that satisfaction, and I'll start with the visuals. I'll start with the common visual tropes seen across all platforms, and then hone in on platform-specific ideas I like. I think an underrated aspect of a Chivo is the badge that it is attached to. It's the image you're going to associate with an accomplishment, so it would be ideal for it to have a cool design that matches the theme of the game it is from, since, just like the box art, it can represent the character of a game without even needing to play it. Of course, not all developers fully utilize this route, and may go for something simple or uniform. At least for the uniform ones, they match nicely. But I think CDevs miss out on the potential that comes with designing badges. An example of CDevs taking advantage of this opportunity can be found in Fallout New Vegas' Chivos. The description of the Chivo matches what the badge showcases, such as that lucky old sun showing Vault Boy sunbathing near solar panels, hinting at what you have to do to obtain it, which is restoring power to an energy plant, or Ain't That a Kick in the Head, not only being a nod to a song in the game, but also showing Vault Boy with an injury on his head. These are the type of Chivo badges I like, and I wish more CDevs would take note of that, since seeing a list of unique badges after Chivo hunting feels like a genuine treat to experience. Now to get into specific ideas that platforms do to visually make Chivos look nice, I'll look at two examples, Steam and the Xbox One. Both platforms have unique visual flares for rare achievements, and I think both are excellent. For Steam, Chivos have a glowing aura around them, and it looks angelic, especially with the highlighted text for the description, truly cementing how rare this achievement truly is. Only downside is that the aura doesn't carry over to your profile. At least Xbox is able to pick up the slack in a different area. Allow me to show you the regular unlock graphic for the Xbox One first. Seems really simple, right? You have a pop-up showing a trophy image, then the name of the achievement. With that in mind, I want to draw your attention to the rare achievement pop-up. Now this is what I love to see, with the diamond instead of the regular icon, and the pop-up even has a subtle shine to it. These small changes add to the satisfaction derived from getting these rare Chivos. You'll want to see that pop-up again, and that's the point! Using pleasant visuals as a small reward for your work is crucial to increasing the value of Chivos, thus motivating players to continue working for them. With that said, I think there is another factor that gives achievement pop-ups their notoriety, and you probably noticed it was missing in the examples I showed. That is the sound design. While visuals are important, sound design is absolutely crucial to conveying information to the player. That's why FPS players may discuss how guns sound. It's about being able to effectively communicate the impact of something through a non-visual manner, as both work with each other hand in hand. In this case, the impact achievement sound design goes for is to make the player feel good and rewarded. Let's return to Xbox's rare achievement pop-up. Here is the sound. The sound design succeeds in making the player feel like a winner in 3 steps. Step 1 is the bait and switch. The initial sound you hear almost sounds like a regular achievement unlock sound, but then it leads into the rest of the sound, getting the player more excited than they initially expected. That leads into step 2, glory to the player. The sound turns into a heavenly harmony, allowing you to bask in the fruits of your success and reflect upon what it took to get here. Finally, step 3 is the lasting impact. After allowing the harmony to play out, a final jingle is played, giving a sense of closure to this accomplishment. As you can see, these 3 steps prove how good sound design is a big factor to making players care about achievements. With 2 factors down for why people go for Chivos, let's look at the final one, community. With the introduction of Chivos on Xbox, also came the concept of a gamer score, the total amount of points a player has accumulated from Chivos, with common Chivos having a low amount of points, and rare Chivos having a greater amount. The gamer score is viewable on your profile for all the world to see. PlayStation adopted a similar system to this known as the trophy level system, where players can level up with the more Chivos they get. So you might be asking, what can you do with these points? The answer is nothing. They serve no purpose other than bragging rights, and that's what makes them genius. Naturally, gamers are likely to be competitive, so it makes sense to give them something where they can try to one-up each other. Chivo hunters can overlap with this group of people, trying to see who can get the most Chivos. This leads to my explanation for why I say C-devs and not game developers. I say C-devs because those who make achievements aren't always those who make the games, which come in the form of retro achievements. In case you didn't know, Retro Achievements is an online project that allows people to create Chivos for classic titles that didn't have them. A cool feature on this site is the fact that it has a leaderboard ranking, allowing you to see who has the most points collected. On your profile, you can see where you are ranked and show off the games you completed, with 100% completed games getting extra attention in the form of awards. This showcase is more engaging due to the fact that others can see it, pushing players to get more achievements. On top of that, there is a community of individuals who, just like you, like to play games. Just like any hobby, the social aspect of it can elevate it exponentially, and Chivo hunting is no different. It's fun to get excited when new Chivo sets are released, or when the website gets a new update that makes it better, because you aren't the only one feeling that way. The whole community is. That makes getting achievements extra special. It's easy to get caught up in trying to get all Chivos for a game, that sometimes you can end up taking it a bit too seriously, so it's important to remind yourself that the main point of games is to enjoy yourself. If you're going for Chivos, go for them. If not, that's okay as well. To wrap things up, for me, Chivos offer a second win for a game I enjoy, and I will happily continue collecting them for the reasons I previously went over. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and here's hoping Nintendo eventually adds achievements of their own.